I wish I could go on all day, but I want to just say a few words and to thank you again for your very great kindness in coming here today. It means much to us in America, much to the Americans struggling for peace in the Northwest, some of the finest people in the world under pressure today, facing jail, facing hostile courts, for the simple fact that they are struggling for peace, struggling for a decent America where all of us who have helped build that land can live in decency and in goodwill. As for myself, as I said last year, I remain the same Paul that you have known throughout all these years, the same Paul, but time has made it so that everyone, I included, must fight harder today to preserve the basic liberties guaranteed to us Americans by our Constitution. If it were not so, if this were not so, I would be with you in Vancouver. I would be traveling all over the Canada that I cherish so deeply. And it might interest you to know that just the other day, the Actors Association in Great Britain, the British Equity Association, actors, I remember years ago, I was in London when this group was formed. We had an Actors Equity here in America, and a very progressive one and a very militant one. And I had been playing in the Workers' Theatre, the Unity Theatre, which I helped establish in London. And I know there was quite an argument among the actors, some of the rather, well, I don't quite know, whether we're workers or not, and whether we better have a union. And I remember making a speech and saying to them as a visiting artist, but one who was very close to them, that we who labor in the arts, we who are singers, we who are actors, we who are artists, we must remember that we come from the people, our strength comes from the people, and we must serve the people and be a part of them. And just the other day, in America today, it's very difficult to play in the theater or to get a hall to sing in. Whenever I go into a city like St. Louis, to many of the cities, the wrath of all the powers that be descends upon one single poor minister who wants to give me his church, or descends upon the people who rent the halls. They are told by all the forces in America, the strongest business forces, ministers have told that their banks would no longer honor their mortgages, everything to keep just one person from appearing in a concert in this church or in this hall. I know what it means. They don't want to hear people speak for peace. Many of the bravest working class leaders are today in prison. And today we fight in America on the eve of this truce. As this truce is concluded in Korea, we fight for the amnesty and the freedom of those leaders to come back and to lead their people. So I can't act or sing in any sort of decent, very seldom in my own country. So the British actors, however, there was a request and a contract sent to me to play Othello in London as soon as I could get there, and they went to the British Actors Equity Association to see if I could get a labor permit, and they said that there was no question of the status of Mr. Robeson, that he could come here and play Othello, but beyond that, we would like to see that production and to see him play that role, which he played so well in 1930 in England, and at the end of it was a very important phrase, and we would welcome him to this land. They would welcome me to England to play Othello. And at the same time, I received an invitation that I just couldn't receive an invitation that could mean more. It's from the miners in Wales. The miners in Wales. And Wales, was a part of England where I first understood the struggles of white and Negro together. When I went down into the coal mines, into the Rhondda Valley, went down into the mines with those workers, lived among them, later did a picture, as you know, called Proud Valley, and I became so close that in Wales today, as I feel here, they feel me a part of that land. And I've just received an invitation to appear at the Ancestral in October, next Ancestral given by the miners and by the workers of Wales, and I hope to be able to get there to do that. So it's very important that we are gathered here today, that our government can understand that artists, not only myself, there are so many of us, so many scientists like Dr. Du Bois, one of the greatest Americans who ever lived, proudly a son of the Negro people, but one who has contributed to the advance of all mankind. And the idea that Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois cannot leave this country to attend peace meetings, to attend scientific gatherings all over the earth. And that goes for so many of outstanding American scientists, intellectuals, workers, trade union leaders, so that you must understand this. They will hear about this today. They will hear about our gathering here. This will mean a great deal to see that many of us may be able to travel in the future. And why do they take my passport away? They have said so in a case. They put it in a brief. They said that no matter what my political beliefs, what my standing among the Negro people of my own land in America, but they would have to take my passport away anyhow, because out of my own lips, mind you, from my own lips, for many years, I have been struggling for the independence of the colonial peoples of Africa. And that is meddling in the foreign affairs of the United States government. Now, that's just too bad, because I'm going to have to continue to meddle. But I stand and I say to you, as you come from our land here in this American continent, I am proud of the America in which I was born. My father was a slave, reared in North Carolina. I have many friends all over the earth, and rightly so. Other Americans can choose their Francos if they want to. Other Americans can choose the refuse of Nazi fascism. They can wander around the earth picking those who would keep mankind in perpetual slavery. I choose to stretch out my hands across the ocean to brave peoples of many lands, across the border to Latin America, to Neruda in Chile, to the brave people of Cuba and Mexico, across the ocean to the lands of Asia, and I stretch my hands to the people of the new China as they build a new life for 500 million people. And I say, as an American, as Jefferson in his time stretched his hands across to meet the great heroes of the French Revolution of 1789, I stretch my hand across the continent to shake the hands of the brave Soviet people and of the new People's Democracy. That is my right as an American. And I know I could have sung it today. I could sing so many songs. They sing only the songs of peace there in that land. And I would have liked to sing a song today, Peace Will Conquer War, Mir Победит Войну, a song composed by Shostakovich, the great Soviet composer. But I speak as one whose roots are in the soil of my land. I speak as one, as I say, whose fathers and whose mothers toiled in cotton, toiled in tobacco, toiled in indigo, toiled to help create the basic wealth upon which the great land of the United States was built. The great primary wealth came from the blood and from the suffering of my forefathers. And I say, as I have said many times, that I have a right to speak out on their blood, on what they have contributed to that land, and on what I have contributed also as best I can. But I say right here that because of their struggle, I will go around the world, but I'm telling you now that a good piece of that American earth belongs to me. And it belongs to my children and to my grandchildren. I have two of them, you know, two grandchildren. Boy about 2 1/2 and a little girl about 6 months. Boy, they're sharp. So there's a lot of America that belongs to me and to my people. And we have struggled too long ever to give it up. My people are determined in America to be not second-class citizens, to be full citizens, to be first-class citizens, and that is the rock upon which I stand. From that rock, I reach out, as I say, across the world, to my forefathers in Africa, to Canada, all around the world, because I know that there is one humanity, that there is no basic difference of race or color, no basic difference of culture, but that all human beings can live in friendship and in peace. I know it from experience. I have seen the people. I have learned their languages. I sing their songs. And I go about America, wherever I may go, seeking a simple thing. It seems so simple that all people should live in full human dignity and in friendship. But somewhere the enemy has always been around, who tries to push back the great mass of the people in every land. We know that. Well, I said long ago that I was going to give up my life to spend my day-to-day struggle down among the masses of the people, not even as any great artist up on top somewhere, but right here in this park, in many of the picket lines, wherever I could be, to help the struggle of the people. And I will never apologize for that. I shall continue to fight as I see the truth. And I tell you here, I hope to see you next year, wherever I am in the world. I'll come back to be here next year. I'll come back. And I want you to know that I'll continue this year fighting for peace, however difficult it may be. And I want everybody in the range of my voice to hear, official or otherwise, that there's no force on earth that will make me go backward 1,000th part of 1 little inch. I will stay there.